is Laurens van der Kooi from YouTube channel Bassist. In this video series I would like to give you a step-by-step guide to bass maintenance and bass adjustments. If you're digging my videos, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Step 1. Changing bass strings and polishing your bass. Things needed: new bass strings, string clippers, pack winder, tuner, polish and cloth. When you're about to change your bass strings, you need to determine whether your current bass strings are dead or could still be used on a spare bass or as a spare set. If your current bass strings are dead, you could loosen the tension of the strings at the headstock and clip them between the neck pickup and the neck. If your strings are still live and you want to use them as a spare set, then loosen the strings at the headstock and carefully pull them through the bridge or body, depending on what type of bass you're working with. A question I hear a lot from bass players is: how often do I need to change my strings? Well, that's a hard question to answer because it depends on a few things. For example, what type of bass tone do you like? Are you into that crispy sound of fresh round wound bass strings? Or are you more into the mellow sound of older round wound strings? It also depends on the type of strings you like to use. Flat wound strings can last as long as a year. Round wound strings have a shorter lifespan. Changing strings is completely based upon personal preference. I'm using round wound strings most of the time and I change them 3 or 4 times a year. Now that all the strings are off the bass, this might be a good time to clean and condition the fretboard and the body. I'm conditioning my fretboard since I have a rosewood fretboard. Maple fretboards typically have a finish and don't require any conditioner. I'm using Dunlop Fretboard 65 Ultimate Lemon Oil to condition the fretboard. Conditioning your fretboard is important because a dried fretboard can split and crack. It can lead to the fret wire or binding to come loose. Now it's time to polish the body of the bass. I'm using GHS guitar gloss, which is a non-wax polish. I put some on a cloth and spread a thin coat on the body. I would like to emphasize that it's extremely important that none of the polish gets into the output of your bass. This will mess up your sound. When you're polishing your bass, don't do this on a guitar stand as I'm doing in the video. This could damage the finish of your bass. It's better to do it on a table with a towel underneath the bass. I'm spreading a thin coat of polish on the body and let this dry. While letting it dry, I wipe away any excess oil from the fretboard. After wiping away any excess oil from the fretboard, I wipe off the body until it's nice and shiny. Now you've taken good care of your guitar's fretboard and finish. As I mentioned earlier in this video, there are several ways to string a bass. This depends on the type of bass you're working on. Some basses are strung through the body, others are strung through the bridge. My Fender American Standard Jazz bass gives me the option of stringing through the bridge or through the body. In my opinion, stringing through the body is more convenient than stringing through the bridge, so I hardly string this bass through the bridge. Some people say that strung through the body gives the bass more resonance, but I really can't tell the difference. I do know that there are some flat wound strings that need to go through the bridge because the angle of the string going through the body is too extreme for these types of strings. Most string brands have a string guide printed on the packing material to know which string goes where. Otherwise, you can recognize the E string as being the thickest of the set and the G string as being the thinnest. When putting new strings on your bass, it's important to clip them to keep things nice and neat. A good rule of thumb is to measure up between 1 to 2 machine heads and clip the strings between the two. For example, when I'm putting my new E string on the bass, I'll clip it between the tuning pack of the A and the D string. After clipping the string, feed the string in through the top, then hold the string down at the pack and use the pack winder. Turn the tuning key away from the body to tighten the string and do this consistently while putting the other strings on. Now we have all 4 strings on the bass, it's time to tune them and move on to the next step. In the next video I'll show you how to adjust the truss rod. Thanks for watching.